Hello, everyone. This is Cameron Davis. I am the owner of Adam Lorraine Productions. This is very big to me. Thank you all for subscribing. I am here to introduce myself formally and also tell you a little bit about Adam Lorraine and the vision that I have for it. Um, Adam Lorraine basically started as a concept of me wanting to use the gift that God gave me in the form of writing to make content that would be conducive to not only the black community but also the human race, period. Um, when I was a little child, about 5 years old, my mother would, to get me out of her hair, she would send me in the room and write short stories and things of that nature. She would want to watch, her stories and kind of have a moment of peace. So she would send me in the room to be able to do these stories and things like that. So I basically would hone those skills that that again God gave me, but in the form of creativity, writing, and basically it started from there. I've loved writing ever since then. I've had different ways of putting it out there in school, short stories, of course, and as more advanced I got in school, I started doing more creative writing exercises and things of that nature. Um, I ended up going to DePaul University, and I took theater school there, and I learned how to become a playwright, which is one of the things that I love doing, which is writing, and also took a class in screenwriting as well. I graduated from DePaul back in 2012. I had a chance to go to England and experience all the culinary aspects of writing and things of that nature. One of my favorite writers of all time, William Shakespeare, I got a chance to visit his home and the area in which he grew up in. So that was a very humbling experience to me. Some of my influences, of course, is William Shakespeare. Tyler Perry, of course, comes to mind because he's an African American male who has, catapulted the playwriting industry to another level, to the point where now he's actually doing movies and TV shows and things of that nature. So that's kind of what I want to do with this platform as well too. Um, so basically, after I did that and graduated, I did my first professional play for my church family, which is God Can Ministries. Shouts out to Reverend Dr. Sharon Ellis Davis for allowing me the platform and the stage to be able to, once again, hone my skills and to use it to touch people. Basically, the right a situation in which I'm trying to improve love between all of us. We have a lot of different relationship issues in the black community that don't get addressed. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of toxicity. If nothing else, this whole experience with Will Smith and Chris Rock, kind of showed us, how easily in the black community we can be divided. This whole idea of Team Will and Team Chris, didn't really need to take it to that level, and honestly, if there was a more situation where we can be able to communicate in our relationship aspect of our community, we would be able to maybe not come up with answers, but kind of have a better understanding of one another. And that's one of the things that I want to focus in on is the communication piece. I think the communication piece between the black people in our community it's terrible. There's nothing more I can be able to say about it. It's terrible. It needs to be better. And one of the things that I'm trying to portray and get out there is, not so much not so much whether you like the play or movie or not, but does it cause you to be able to go home and think and ponder and communicate with, that other person about what you saw? I think if we foster more conversations, we can be able to get a better understanding of one another. And so that's what I want to be able to focus on in Adam Lorraine. It's just basically producing content that we can be able to use to foster communication in our society and in our community as well. That may come in forms of skits, plays, or movies, or TV. I'm open to look into doing all of that. But one of the things I want to be able to do also with this production company is also allow other people to have voices too. Right now, I'm in talks with a young director to possibly direct one of my skits and things of that nature, and basically putting her own spin on it. So I'm really looking to be able to branch out as well, but also keeping with the idea of fostering communication in our community. I'm a single father, so I've been single father since 2013. It's not been easy, and I think a lot has to do with the fact that society has its own ideology about what a single person that's raising kids is supposed to look like. It's not too many of us out there. There are us out there, and I mean single fathers that are raising their kids. And what I mean by that, the kids actually live with them, not where they actually are visiting mom part-time and then they come home, come to another location, but they are predominantly reside with the father. And I've been doing it, for quite some time now, almost 10 years. So I have a lot of knowledge with that, and a lot of experiences that I think need to be brought to the forefront, and kind of give those single fathers that don't have a voice or don't know how to be able to say certain things that they've experienced, an opportunity to be able to see themselves on the screen as well too. I'm a military veteran. We deal with a lot of issues around PTSD. I mean, I'm a person that suffers from depression, also anxiety, and I developed that when I was in the military. And so I want to be able to reach out and discuss those things that are considered taboo. And I know nowadays mental health is a big thing, but I think it's even more difficult when you're talking about the African American community or Black community, or however way you want to say it, and allowing them to be able to express themselves. I've already touched on the fact that there's a lot of toxicity, and what I mean about that is that, my dad, told me a long time ago that, to get your mind right, you need to take a year off from doing, all these different things. I mean, being in relationships and things of that nature, and just kind of focus on yourself. Sometimes we don't, well, a lot of times I've seen we don't do that. We tend to jump from one relationship to another without healing ourselves first. And I've done that, but I also took the time to be able to discover who I am before I would venture out into being in other relationships with other people. There's a lot of things that we carry on to the next relationship that we haven't quite dealt with, and so that person that gets into the next relationship, endures all of that, and then in turn, if they stay with that person too long, then they become toxic, and it becomes like a festering disease. It spreads, very quickly, and to the point where we have all these different ideologies about what a man's role is versus a woman's role. Those things, we need to be able to flush out more, not defining one another's role, but understanding who we are as a person, or who that person is as a person, to be able to kind of, get to where, they need to be able to focus in on, we focus in on too many of the wrong things. I can get on this platform and say, we focus so much too much on materialistic things, but who doesn't want nice things? But at the same time too, I think when we start identifying one another as to how or who should be getting these things for us, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult. Men are going to be men and women are going to be women, and it all depends upon that individual at the end of the day and what they're looking for. But in order for you to be able to know what you're looking for, you got to know who you are and why you're looking for that, you know. So hopefully what I'm doing with Adam Lorraine is will begin to tackle some of those issues around that. And like I said before, and I've said many times in this, cat podcast, whatever case, whatever you want to call it, it fosters communication. So that's what I want to be able to do. I thank you all that have subscribed and all the newcomers that will be coming on. Expect this, expect to be able to see this type of content going forward. So this is my very first video I've ever done. So hopefully I was a little bit more coherent. I practiced it in my mind 30,000 times, but when you're in front of a camera, it kind of changes everything. So I thank you once again, and be prepared for Adam Lorraine to come at you with the realness. Bye.